All right, so in chemistry, our goal isn't just to learn about different types of matter, it's to control them or to change them, right? Take something that's useless and change it into something that's useful. So let's learn about the two main types of changes. So first we have a physical change. And in a physical change, the atoms/molecules don't change identities. But they do often change phases. So let's take a look at an example of that. And so here we see a pot of water boiling. Well, if you think about what's in the pot of water, it's obviously molecules of liquid water. And then if you think about the steam that's coming up above, it's still water. So it's H2O in the bottom, H2O in the top. So you can see that the identity of the material has not changed, only its phase. So an example of this is obviously boiling. So going from a liquid to a gas. Something like freezing, the opposite, would also just be a physical change. So going from a liquid to a solid. Other examples are something like evaporation, right? Liquid to a gas. Dissolving something, when you dissolve it, you don't change the identity. You just put it in some water. Or maybe something like filtering, separating out a solid and a liquid. So you can see in all of these examples, we don't change the identity of the atom/molecule. The second type of change is a chemical change. And so in this type of change, we do change the identity of our molecules. So here's some examples of that. On the left here, we have burning, right? So you have propane gas burning here, but you can think of anything burning, maybe a wooden log burning. If you think about a wooden log, you have some kind of solid that gets burned. And if you think about what it transforms into, it's going to be carbon dioxide and water. So we are changing the identity here, right? In the bottom here, we've got propane, which is just carbon and hydrogen. And then up above, we've got CO2 and water, right? So we are changing the identity. Another popular example is rusting. So here we have iron, right? Atoms of iron, and then it rusts. It rusts into iron oxide. So now we have iron connected to atoms of oxygen. So we did change the identity. And then another example is fermentation, right? So how do they make beer or alcohol? Well, you take some sugar, which is molecules of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and then you ferment it to turn it into ethanol, which is a different component, right? Ethanol and sugar are not the same thing. So identifying chemical changes does require some kind of scientific knowledge about what's your compositions of your stuff, right? So the most popular examples are going to be burning, where we're taking hydrocarbons, so hydrogen and carbon, and turning it into CO2 and water. And then the other probably most popular example is going to be rust, where you have some kind of iron solid turning into iron oxide. So overall, be able to identify the changes or the differences between a chemical and a physical change. So remember, in physical, the identity doesn't change. In chemical, it does.